Hey y'all, welcome to Does Your Art Fit? I'm Zakila of Art Fit by Zakila, and today I'm teaching you how to make a granny square heart just like this. Now, February is Black History Month first, before it is the month of love, of Valentine's Day. But I can't be a hater on Valentine's Day. It's kind of cute, for people that have the love out there. I plan to do some Galentine's things, and that'll sum up my love month. However, if you want to make someone a square or coaster, or you have a few days on your hands and you want to make this top or make something similar or just learn something new, we'll be discussing color changes in a granny square. And again, my top, I'm so happy that I've made this top. I love it. It has some weight to it. I used a worsted weight yarn for every part of it, and a 5mm hook. This is Knit Pick Shine worsted. It peels a lot more than I would like, but it's real cute, and we're gonna rock it till it comes apart. Okay, now to the square.
For this square, I used a 4mm hook, a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle, and I also used a 2.5mm hook. I have two colors of worsted weight yarn in white and red. This is also the layout that we'll be following. This square is reversible, and that means that we'll be doing color changes and we will have to cut our yarn. Beginning with the magic loop, with my palm facing up, I lay the tail over my 3 fingers. I bring the working yarn up and around towards the top of my fingers to create an X shape. I wrap it around my pinky a few times just to secure the yarn in place. I'm going to call this bar 1 and 2. I'm going under the first bar, grabbing the second and twisting my hook in and around towards myself, making sure to push that loop back on the hook so that the loop is big enough to grab the working yarn and pull through to make a chain. This also secures that magic circle. You should now be able to successfully take the circle off of your fingers, and you're left with the circle that you'll be working all of your stitches into. We're going to count that first yarn over pull through as chain 1, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through again for a chain 2. Then I'm going to place 3 double crochet into the magic circle. So you go into the circle, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1. Here's 2. And 1 more. Making sure that you're going into the magic ring, and I'm also working over that tail to make it extra secure. I'm going to follow this with a chain 2. So as you can see, we have 1 double crochet, the second, the third, followed by a chain 2. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead and repeat that 3 times. Then I'm going to pull on that tail to make my magic circle nice and secure. We've placed 4 clusters of 3 double crochet followed by a chain 2 all into the magic ring. Now I'm going to locate the first double crochet that we placed into the ring, and I'm going to slip stitch into it, making sure to pick up both loops just because that's how I like it. And I'm going to yarn over and pull through the V and pull through the loop that's already on my hook, and that's a slip stitch. Now I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to place a slip stitch into that space that we just created by joining the chain 2 to the beginning. I'm going to go in with another slip stitch to anchor me to this side, and then I'm going to work a corner. I'm going to chain up 2. I'll place 3 double crochet in that space, followed by 2 chains, and then 3 more double crochet. Now we've reached our last double crochet for this corner. And then I'm going to continue this around for the next 3 corners, making sure to place 3 double crochet followed by 2 chains and then 3 more double crochet all into that same corner space. Okay, now we're reaching the last stitch of corner 4. And again, I'm going to join it with a slip stitch to the beginning double crochet from the first cluster or first corner of this round. Making sure to pick up the entire V, yarn over, pull through the V, and pull through the loop that's already on your hook. So let's check in with the chart that we saw at the beginning. We've completed round 1, and we've also completed round 2. Now, because we're flipping our work back and forth, we will be alternating between working clockwise and working counterclockwise in this chart. Let's get ready for row 3. We have color changes coming up now. Because I ended with the main color red, I'm going to rotate the chart so that it works for me and I have less color changes. I'm going to now start row 3 where we have an in-between cluster, and then we're going to work a corner as well. Now let's flip our work, slip stitch into that space, chain up 2, and then we're going to place 3 double crochet into that space. Okay, do as I say and not as I do, because I definitely forgot 1 double crochet in that cluster, but forgive me. Now we're going to work a corner by placing again 3 double crochet, followed by a chain 2, followed by 3 more double crochet, all in that same space. And then we'll switch to our contrast color of white. Okay, now that we've made it to the end of our corner, let's check back in with our chart. We've worked what's highlighted in orange for row 3, and now we're going to switch to our white. The way that I like to do this for this row in particular is to undo the last yarn over and pull through. Then I'm going to take my contrast color, lay it over my hook, and complete the double crochet with the contrasting color. I like to pull on the main color to make it pretty snug before working with the new color. Now, if I haven't already, let me apologize in advance because some things got switched up while making the video, but you know, practice makes better. So what I'm going to do is yarn over and pull up a loop, first making sure that I'm tucking that red yarn in behind. We're going to carry it. And then I'm going to grab my tail from the now contrasting color of white, and I'm going to yarn over with the tail and working yarn and pull it through the first section of my double crochet. Then I'm going to drop the tail and work the last step of the double crochet as normal. I chose to do just a normal double crochet for the second stitch in this cluster, making sure that that red yarn is being tucked in and carried. For the third double crochet, I'm going to again grab that working yarn as well as the tail, yarn over, and pull it through the first section of that double crochet. Now at this point it's pretty secure, so you can go ahead and snip. Then you'll finish your double crochet as normal. Now let's check in with our chart. So we had one section of white and we carried our red yarn behind the stitches, making sure that we were working over them. Now we have a corner and an in-between space in red to do. Now I know this is reversible, but you know, some colors will peek through just because I felt it was unnecessary to cut the yarn at this stage. So I'm going to undo that last yarn over pull through of my double crochet. I'm going to now drop my contrast color of white, pick up my red, and then complete the double crochet by yarning over and pulling through. So you will have this little bar of red peeking through, but I think that's okay. Now I'm just going to complete the corner as normal with 3 double crochet followed by a chain 2, followed by 3 double crochet all in the same space, And then remember, we're also going to work that in-between space after. Okay, now we're finishing the last cluster of our red. We will now need to do a color change. Checking in with our chart, we've made it over halfway through of round 3. And now we need to switch back to our contrast color, so we'll need to cut. Now, let's check in with our chart. We have one corner of white, followed by a cluster of red, and then another corner of white. So again, I'm going to undo that last yarn over pull through, pick up my contrast color, and pull it through the main color to finish that double crochet. Then I'm going to yarn over and prepare for a corner by placing 3 double crochet. And because I'm joining that new color, I'm going to take that tail and incorporate it into my double crochet so that I won't have to weave in those ends later. Because the previous row was in our main color and the next cluster is in our main color, I'm going to go ahead and also carry that red yarn behind us as I work, making sure to work over it with the white. And then I'll pick it up again when it's time to do that in-between cluster. Okay, we've made it around our corner and completed our last double crochet, but again, we carried that main color, and so I'm going to undo the last yarn over pull through of that double crochet, drop my white yarn, and I'm going to pick up my red. I am not going to carry the white. To get ready for my next color change, I'm going to cut the white, and then I'm going to just lay it over my hook and pull it through for the last part of that double crochet. And then I'm going to work my next corner as normal, again making sure to work that tail end as I go. Okay, remember I forgot to do the third double crochet, so I'm just going to make my slip stitch into that beginning chain 2. Now let's check in with our chart again. We've completed row 3. Congratulations if you have made it this far. If I'm going too fast, please use the YouTube button to slow it down. Alright, now we're going to turn our work, anchor ourselves by making that slip stitch, chain up 2, and now we're going to work 3 double crochet back into that space. We're going to be using our contrast color for the entire bottom of this square. To avoid having to weave this end in later, I'm going to go ahead and work it in like I would the tail at the beginning of a color change. So I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and then add that tail in with my working yarn to yarn over and pull through 2, and then I'll drop it and then yarn over and pull through 2 on the top of that double crochet, and I'll work that tail in as many times as it can, and then I'll just go ahead and snip it off. Now I'm going to skip around to the next color change. Checking in again with our chart, it is now time to switch back to our main color and work an in-between space and a corner space. The way this next color change just worked is a bit different from the previous row. I went ahead and pulled up a long loop of white, and I'm going to insert my hook into the front loop and the bar to the left of that double crochet. Then I'll lay my red yarn over my hook and go ahead and pull it through that stitch. Now we've successfully changed colors another way. Good job, you're learning new things. Now I'm going to continue with an in-between cluster of 3 double crochet, and this time I work my tail in a bit different and I like this method better. So I'm going to use my tail for the yarn over, then insert into the space, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2 for that double crochet. Then on the next 2, when I yarn over and pull up a loop, the next time I yarn over and pull through 2, I will go ahead and grab my tail and then work the top of the stitch as normal. This way I don't have that extra yarn coming down the side like you do for the ones on the previous row. It didn't matter then because you're working stitches into that space and you can kind of cover it up. But now as we're getting to those outer edges, I just wanted to find a better method to make sure that the transitions were nice and clean. So we finished our next corner, and I'm going to pull up a long loop of the red. Checking in with our chart, we need 2 clusters of white. So now I'm going to do the color change the same way. I'm going to cut at the top of the loop from the contrast color, and then pull the working yarn out of it, and it'll be nice and secure. I promise it's not going anywhere. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook the same way through the front loop and the bar to the left of that double crochet. Lay my contrast color over my hook and pull it through the 2 loops of that stitch. Now I'm going to continue to work as normal, making sure this time that I take my tail with me for my yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through 2. On the next 2 stitches, I'll be sure to tuck in my tail as I do the first yarn over and pull through 2. I stopped for a second here to show you how I'm going to weave in my ends. Again, I chose to use the different color change method here because I wanted my ends to be more on top of the stitch than what would happen if you change before the last yarn over and pull through 2. This next space has a stray tail, so I'm going to make sure to work that tail right on into my stitches. I feel like this is the best way to avoid having to weave in those ends later. Now that we've completed that cluster, we're ready for our next color change. Do not cut the yarn here. Leave this loop. We will pick up this color on our last round, but we will join the colors the same way. Then you will work this corner as normal, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. Now I'm going to place a slip stitch into the first double crochet of the first cluster of the row, and then I'm going to chain 1 and just pull my loop through. I already have it cut. It's time for a little bit of maintenance, so we need to go ahead and weave these ends in, and I'm just going to again insert into the top of the stitch and just pull that loop through on and around so it can be worked over for the last round. Now, strategically, I did not want to cut this yarn because this is the color that I'm going to use for the last round. There was no need to cut it, so we're just going to continue as normal. I'm going to insert my hook back into that loop. I'm going to turn my work, anchor myself to this side with a slip stitch, chain up 2, and work 2 more double crochet or 3 more double crochet into the space. I'm going to finish this row in normal granny square fashion with 3 double crochet clusters and making my corners the same as we have been. Now checking in with our chart, we've completed rows 1, 2, 3, and 4. Look at the nice heart. We did it. But we want to make sure it's nice and clean at the end. So we'll edge it in white, and then I'll meet you back at the end of the last round so that we can do the invisible join together. Alright, so we've made it to the end. I'm going to pull up a loop and I'm going to snip. Then you're going to need your tapestry needle, so thread the end. Next, you'll find that second double crochet of the 3 in that cluster. There's the second. Insert from front to back into that loop under the entire V. Pull it through, and then on the last stitch, I'm going to insert through the back loop, and I like to go under that bar just for extra security. Adjust your invisible join as normal, and then I'm going to go ahead and weave in my end. Now all there's left to do is weave in the rest of our ends, so I'm going to use my tapestry needle to weave in the end from the magic circle. This next step is completely optional, but I wanted to use my 2.5mm hook to go in and out of those top loops of the V with my remaining colors, and then I also used my hook to insert under those stitches and just weave them in the best that I could. I don't know why I didn't want to use a tapestry needle, I just didn't. I liked this method better. A tapestry needle works just fine though. Okay, here's my last snip, I believe. And we did it! It's a heart. We made a granny square heart. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Again, you can slow down this video or speed it up for your convenience. Okay, if you're here to the end, I truly appreciate it. I hope this video was helpful. And guess what? I have a 1,000 subscriber giveaway coming up. Okay, peace.